We've gotten a little bit of practice with drawing these basic randomized comparative designs using just one factor. And so if we only have one factor, the number of treatments is really easy because the number of treatments is just the number of levels. So whatever those levels are going to be our treatment. Where it gets trickier is if you have more than one factor. And so in that case, it's going to take a little bit more work to figure out exactly what we're doing. So let's look at an example of this. Suppose that I have one coin and a single die, and I want to flip the coin and roll the die. So this will give me two factors. My first factor is the coin, and it has two levels, either heads or tails. My second factor is that single die, and it'll be either a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. To determine the number of outcomes or treatments here, we need to look at every possible combination of the levels of each factor. So that's a lot of words, but we're going to break it down for you here. So the first thing we're going to look at is the multiplication rule. So if someone just wants to know the number of outcomes or the number of treatments, this is the fastest way to get there. The way that it works is you're going to multiply the number of levels for each factor. So I have the coin has 2 levels, and I have the single die has 6 levels. So 2 times 6 will give me 12 treatments total. So multiplication rule works really great if all you need is the total number of treatments. If you need to know exactly what those treatments are, then you might want to look at using something like a tree diagram. So the tree diagram will give you the number of treatments as well as the list of what those treatments are. So the way it works is you're going to take each factor and you're going to draw tree branches for the levels of that factor. So if we start here on the left, we'll start with the factor of the coin. And so we'll draw 2 lines for the 2 levels, so either heads or tails. And then from each of those, we're going to draw lines for the levels of the next factor. So that next factor was the single die, and it had 6 levels. So from the heads, I'm going to draw 6 lines and put the numbers 1 through 6. And same thing with the tail. I'm going to draw 6 lines and put the numbers 1 through 6 for those 6 levels of the single die. So then I have a list of treatments or outcomes. So heads in 1, heads in 2, all the way down to heads in 6, and then tails in 1, tails in 2, all the way down to tails in 6. So that gives us our list of treatments, as well as we can count these up and see that there are 12 of them, so we know that there are going to be 12 treatments that we need to do.